Well, what's going on, you guys? Summer del Piso back once again. Part 2 of the analysis of the virile superb powers of manhood. I believe that's the name of the book. The virile powers of superb manhood. We're back on the, Jesus, I can't even speak. This is the second part of the analysis of the virile powers of superb manhood by Bernarr MacFadden, an American nutritionist that has been known to not only promote sexual education for young males, but also he fixed his own tuberculosis issue due to a radicalized diet of his. We're going to go back to the masturbation chapter and we're going to continue what we were talking about. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna get back into it. Ignorance, the cause. The most fruitful source of self-pollution is ignorance, of course. If parents were faithful in the discharge of their duty to their children in this respect, the evil would be generally corrected. The silence of most parents is both foolish and culpable because the parents are not scolding the child by sparing the rod. The child is spoiled. He sees no wrong in his actions and he's going to continue this completely horrible and loathsome act because it makes him feel very good, not understanding that it's leading to a lot of the nascent issues that he will have if he continues these habits. Loss of memory, loss of physical health, destruction of the various systems in his body. The list goes on and on. A person who leaves his or her child to learn from vicious companions in an unhallowed way what they should have received from the lips of father or mother is guilty of grave neglect and loses the best opportunity of a parent's life to establish the mind of a child in purity and virtue. You can't blame the parents, really, because their parents didn't teach them that stuff. And then their parents' parents didn't teach them anything. You can't completely blame the parents. The thing is, what they are culpable for is not chasing ascension, therefore not understanding the negatives of masturbation and sexual sin. I'm not gonna lie, I was a victim of we all were as young men. I think we all were victims of sinning sexually. I'm gonna tell you something about my dad. That guy you don't go to him for anything, right? No advice of any sort, because he is just gonna tell you, oh, go do it, right? Oh, that woman is married. But I think she likes me, or she's looking at me in a very, very sexual way. Oh, go talk to her. As I was growing up and living with him in London, and obviously I was young, I was like 18, 17 at the time, and I was trying to sort of navigate my feelings at the time about the various people that I was meeting, the various women I was meeting that I liked. He would just say, just go talk to her, see what happens. You're supposed to be taking down this many girls a week, and I don't know why you're not doing it. It's because you grew up with your mother for too long. And it's like, wait, is there, you're not talking to me about sex at all. You're just giving me a very, very standard response of fathers to their sons of how sex and women should be treated and tackled. You don't really know anything, do you? You can't blame him. It is due to the pervading Maya, the pervasive Maya of this world regarding sexual matters, in order to keep individuals, males, in a perpetual cycle of sexual sin and sinning and releasing and devolving and descending. So we can never get up there and sort of look at the entire world as some sort of prison. And this is Alice Lee Mock. I think this is Moak, right? I think this is an example here. The mother of 3 boys, in writing upon this subject, aptly and correctly says, ignorance is a dreadful sin. In this enlightened age, we must recognize that ignorance is not innocence, and remember that to forewarn our boys is to forearm them. There it is. The truth, properly told, has never yet harmed a child. There we go. Silence, false shame, and mystery have corrupted the souls and bodies of untold millions. Look at this woman. I don't even know who she is. She's obviously a woman of old, right? Not old like, Virgil and Homer, but old like Aldous Huxley, Bernarr MacFadden. She's telling us that you can't feign ignorance in this day and age. It's not gonna fly. You are where you are in life because you have sinned sexually, and you have not only refused the information to enlighten yourself about this sexual problem, the sexual sin, but you have feigned ignorance perpetually. Okay, this person does it, this person did it, my father did it, the president says he did it, the vice president of this country says he also does it. That's why he birthed this chess champion. This is the problem. And until we are trying to seek knowledge for the sake of ascension, bringing other people out of the darkness, then we are going to consistently rush into this problem. We're going to consistently head into this wall, this pit of spikes, this Tomb Raider trap that has claimed the lives of millions, right? You can't warn your boys too soon. Uh-oh, that's right, because curiosity is strong. This is the name of the next chapter. Curiosity is strong in children, young boys. If you warn them too soon, they will seek to check it out. What is the hype about? And inadvertently, you have led them directly into the mouth of the abyss. Rendered childless by my husband's ignorance of these private truths you teach, I adopted 3 sons, whom I determined by forewarning to save them from this vice, and warned my eldest on his 16th birthday, but was too late, as he owned he had perpetrated it for years. Wow, imagine. Determined to be in ample season with my other 2, I warned my next youngest at 13, never dreaming that it could be practiced before puberty, but I found myself again too late. So look, this world is nuts, right? It's funny because this book was written a little while ago, and now people are losing their virginity at like 13 years old, 14 years old. It is not a completely unorthodox thing for kids to do that now, apparently. We have so many different politics and different things going on in the classroom right now. Teachers that are not correctly identifying genders. We are permitting things that were not permitted once upon a time, instead of really, I guess, going in on arithmetic, science, social studies, or they are going in on social studies, but except too deeply, where we're now going into gender politics, politics in general, and how if you choose to believe a certain way or a certain belief system, then you will be excommunicated from school and your friends and your neighbors and all that stuff. And we're not being taught about the things that lead to correct, sound morality in the first place, which is having control over the sexual urge, being taught about sexually sinning and the problems with sexual sin. Let's continue. Frantic with disappointment and determined to make sure of saving my now only undefiled, I warned him at 10, but horrible to relate was still too late, for he had learned and perpetrated it. This is Bernarr referencing a story pertaining to masturbation. It benumbs the brain, nerves, and mind. So this is gonna be good. The thing is, what we don't really understand are the mental debilitations that we feel due to this practice. You see, the world has gotten incredibly sophisticated, and there are various amounts of drugs, vitamins, supplements that one can take in order to try to offset the symptoms of overindulgence, excessive indulgence in masturbation, in sexual sin. We have people that go around living their lives, not checked at all by their environment due to an overconsumption of these drugs, to offset the negatives. And this is the issue. What needs to be, the thing is, health problems that come from sexual sin will always happen. They will always occur. There is no escape, no matter how sophisticated this world is, because unless you could somehow accelerate, not the retention, but the replenishment of the nutrients lost from a 7-day period to, say, a 7-hour period, then the symptoms of sexual sin will always show themselves. And even with that sort of fix or accelerated replenishment, there's still going to be some sort of overworking of the body to some degree. So there's pretty much no escape from this. The sin of self-pollution is one of the most destructive evils ever practiced by fallen man. We are the progeny of Adam and Eve to some degree, if you don't believe in evolution. In many respects, it is several degrees worse than common whoredom and leaves in its train more awful consequences. Well, common whoredom, I think that's a little worse because not only, masturbation, remember, masturbation is, the reason why it's so bad and so demonized is because it is a catalyst of not only other more grotesque sexual sins, but also validates the immoral behavior of the individuals in order to perpetuate the obtaining of that feeling, the orgasm. We chase it forever. We're gonna have people that are 50 years old, 60 years old, with horrible knees, horrible genetics, right? Horrible physical statures that will consistently chase the feeling of the orgasm to the grave. This is just reality. This is something that will be changed, I believe, as Summer Del Piso, because Summer Del Piso is an optimist. I believe that one day people will find the boons and the benefits of the abstention from sexual acts. But right now we're sort of in the mire of sexual sin. It excites the powers of nature to undo action and produces violent secretions, which necessarily and speedily exhaust the vital principle and energy. Hence, the muscles become flaccid and feeble. Not mine. Not mine indeed. And the tone and natural action of the nerves relaxed and impeded, the understanding confused, the memory oblivious, the judgment perverted, the will indeterminate and wholly without energy to resist. You see what he's talking about, Bernarr, or who he's quoting? We know through masturbation, well, ultimately through the expulsion of the sexual energy, you become, there's nothing really strengthening your body, really, except what you've given your body for years, the sustenance, right? The nerves are not working as properly. The understanding is confused. You receive information and you are not in a very, very staunch, receptive, clearly, objectively receptive state. You are judging what this person is saying in a descended form. Once the understanding is confused, you then perpetuate what you filtered, right, in your lowered state, and you live your life incorrectly. The memory oblivious. I can't tell you, many times when I was younger, when I tried to pull up, of course, I was splurging, right? And I'm not talking about money and riches. I used to masturbate a lot, and God forbid I was in college and microeconomics. Professor Consolo asked me to, hey, Sombra, what was that per capita definition that we were talking about the other day? How does that relate to this situation right here? I could not recollect any information for the life of me, I'm telling you. And that is due to my memory being shot, because I was always shooting shots. The judgment perverted. Well, remember, the judgment comes from your moral compass. If you are consistently chasing the orgasm and validating every single action in order to obtain this feeling, yes, your judgment will be completely askew. And you know what? It doesn't matter if I skip a grandmother in a line, at the bank. As long as I get my money and I pay this sex worker so I can continuously get that pleasure. This is the validation. People make these choices every single day. This is what happens. This is just the reality of the situation. The further away from sexual sin we get, the more we can get to the ways of the places of the higher realms, right? And how we can make better decisions in terms of governing this world towards a very, very objective end. The eyes appear languishing and without expression. The countenance vacant, right? The countenance, biblical word, by the way, which means your face, your facial expressions. Yeah, there's just I'm gonna tell you, there's just no expression. I'm gonna tell you guys something actually that has to do with countenance. Recently, about 5 or 6 different people have commented on my face. They said that my face is very, very different. There's just different people. They're people from the gym. My sister talked to me about it as well. People from work, people in the supermarket, all that stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't see a difference. I just go to the mirror, brush my teeth. Sure, I didn't commit any wet dreams. I didn't commit a spillage of any sort. My face looks fine, give or take maybe puffy eyes because I just woken up. The fact that these guys are constantly giving me positive comments or compliments on my face is a clear indication that the semen retention practice is going extremely well for me. Appetite ceases, for the stomach is incapable of performing its proper office. Nutrition fails, tremors, fears, and terrors are generated, and thus the wretched victim drags out a miserable existence till superannuated, even before he had time to arrive at man's estate, with a mind often debilitated even to a state of idiotism. His worthless body tumbles into the grave, and his guilty soul, guilty of self-murder, guilty of self-sin, is hurried into the awful presence of its judge with a capital J, which is our maker, the monad, the one who judges the soul after the actions of the physical reality are committed within the specific time frame allotted to all disparate souls in this universe, right? Or in this physical reality. The trick is, guys, masturbation, like this guy said, leads to everything, all horrible sins of this world. The reason why a lot of things are going on, wars, famine, a large disparity between the rich and the poor, and also the exploitation of the poor by the same rich group that understands this information, is because of the perpetuation of this secret sin, this secret transgression. And the sooner we get out of this, the better and the more powerful our society can become, and the more aware of this, the true nature of this reality is, so we can now make a very, very collaborative, cooperative decision on how to get the heck out of here. Seriously, the fact that we are spending our finite energy in this reality that we had no choice to be in order to prove ourselves to other individuals doing the same thing. Maybe we're better than them, maybe we're on their level, maybe we've brushed shoulders with the presidents or the important people of our society. That all is crazy to me, and that all really does not matter. The only thing that should matter is ascension, trying to understand how to get out of this place and the true nature of this, the reason behind this place, and the reason behind the souls occupying this space as well. And the ceasing of masturbation is the first step. That's all I have to say for you guys today. In this part, we're going to continue the rest of this chapter in part 3. If you like that video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Don't ever let this place get you down. We have a lot of people hiding now this secret sin. It has been secret then, and it continuously will be secret now. And it's becoming less taboo because it's lauded as something good. But we all know, the true retainers know, that it is completely bad and degenerative, and it stops the soul from ascending and getting out of this prison. And stay radiant. I shall see you guys in the next one.